25 drivers, 16 nationalities, 3 champions, 1 world champion. Road to Indy TV.
On behalf of everyone at Allied Building Products, drivers, start your engines!
There you have it, folks, capping off the season with the last command to fire. The Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires, second rung of the program. Indy Lights presented by Cooper Tires, Indy Pro 2000 and USF. It's been a great season. Indy Pro 2000 up next.
Okay, we are ready to go racing. 15 cars in the Cooper Tires Indy Pro 2000 finale here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. Cars leaving start-finish to begin their pace lap here at the Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey. Rob Howden read the grid for you, but let's look at him again. Rasmus Lind on the pole in the number 10 car alongside Kyle Kirkwood in 28 back to the second row. Stingray Robb in car number 2, Daniel Frost alongside in the number 68 car. As we go back to row 3 inside, starting 5th, number 7, Corey Enders alongside Artem Petrov in the number 5 car. Row 4, 7 starter, car number 6, Moises de la Vera alongside 51, Jacob Abel. Back to row 5 on the inside, Antoine Cameau in car 3. Parker Thompson, car 8, completes that 5th row as we go to row 6. Inside, Nikita Lastochkin in car 90. Antonio Saravalli completes the row in car number 11. Then we go to the 7th row inside. Number 27, Matt Round-Garrido alongside Philip Dennis in 91. And our final starter, Charles Finelli in car 83. Rob Howden has joined me up here in the booth. We'll wait till he catches his breath after racing up 3 flights of stairs. I know it certainly wins me, and it's got a chance to catch your breath before these guys get back, Rob, so I think you'll be good to go by the time the green flag waves. They're on their pace lap now, going through turn 5 on their way up the hill. They're already up to the top of the hill, entering the corkscrew turn. That's car number 8, top of the Ray Hall straight. Then they make that left-hander and that 6-story descent through the corkscrew. Here they come down through 8, the right-hander, then 8A, the left-hander, and then back turning left at turn 9, a reverse camber corner where they pop back in the view of everybody down here at start-finish. Heading down into turn 10 as the pace car pulls ahead of them as they come down off the hill. Pace car takes the exit out of turn 10 going into the pit lane. Cars will double up now side by side as they head down into turn 11. They'll make that left turn onto the front straightaway, and they'll be looking for the green flag. And let me turn it over to Rob Howden for the start.
Thank you so much, Dick. Getting set to go here again. The drivers will bring it out onto the front straightaway, spooling things up. Lind on the outside, Kirkwood on the inside. Green, green, green. Racing underneath the bridge. Up over turn 1, they'll fan out 3, 4. Oh, contact. 2 drivers getting together. Kirkwood gets taken out. That's Artem Petrov. The 2 drivers from RP Motorsports Racing. Kyle Kirkwood taking the green flag, has won the championship, but it's his teammate getting contact with another driver. They made contact coming into turn number 2.
I think there's at least 3 cars off. I saw pieces of car flying in the air at the entrance to the hairpin. The video shot we've got now shows 2 cars off in the gravel. I think there's one off screen to the left of that view that's also parked there. We'll have to wait and see who doesn't come around to find out who is involved. I think you called Artem Petrov as one of the guys.
Artem Petrov, the driver here to the left on the screen that you guys are watching at home. It's Kyle Kirkwood in the Mazda colors of having won the scholarship last year. He's got the scholarship done, folks. Here's the start here.
Here's
coming
a replay.
Down. Looked to me like 3 drivers trying to get together coming down into the corner, and it was Petrov. The other driver going to the outside. We'll try to pick that off. Petrov, of course, loses braking. He makes contact as he comes into the zone of turn number 2, gets right into the back of his teammate, Kyle Kirkwood. That's, I think, going to be Daniel Frost, who was in there as well. Frost in the exclusive Autosports number 68 machine. I just think Petrov was in the middle of 3 cars. I don't know if Frost was starting to come over or Petrov was kind of moving his way a bit to driver's right, but he made contact, very likely right front to left rear potentially, because you see the car shot in the air as soon as they made tire contact.
Yeah, car shot in the air, and we saw bodywork pieces flying at fiberglass into the air. All the emergency vehicles are down there now. The drivers are all okay. They just need to get those cars out of there. That is an impact zone, and we are under full course yellow. Full course yellow for this one. Double standing yellow. Pace car will probably come out. Yeah, it's going to pick them up at the exit of the Andretti hairpin. It'll pick up your race leader, Lind, as they go around. And, of course, in the yellow flag situation, you cannot pass. You cannot improve your position. You must stay in line and follow the car in front of you.
Indeed. So Rasmuth Lind takes over the lead right now. Stingray Robb moves into second. Daniel Frost up to third. Corey Enders and Moises De La Vera, the 2 D-Force racing drivers, fourth and fifth. But again, tough one there for Kyle Kirkwood. You know, he would like to have tried to put the exclamation point on the end of a championship season. He only needed to start the race to be able to win this championship, and he has done so now, winning this title in the Indy Pro 2000 category. And joining me here right now as well, to my right here in the announcer's booth, another driver who has already won a scholarship to move into Indy Pro 2000, the USF 2000 champion for 2019, Braden Eves. My friend, has it sunk in a bit yet? It's been like about an hour or so. How do you feel?
It still feels amazing, and it still hasn't sunk in completely. It's definitely going to take at least a night or a couple days to completely settle in, but it feels so good to be the champion. I was so stressed coming into this weekend, and I really had to perform this weekend in order to get the championship, and I was able to cap it off with a win and the championship, so I'm super excited about it.
Let's talk about that race here today, because obviously, you know, you're working your way into this championship. You won some races early on, but you knew, and you said this was probably one of the most stressful races of your life, but one of the most best races of your life. It seemed to me like you had to get out there and really fight for this win.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was kind of one of those races where it felt like something a lot of other drivers, really successful drivers, have talked about, where they kind of feel like they're in the zone.
Yeah.
That's what I felt like in that race. I feel like I made no big mistakes at all, almost no mistakes at all in the entire race. And I knew that if I did, I would have somebody running over my rear end, you know, in a heartbeat and ready to capitalize on that. So I absolutely couldn't make any mistakes, and I was able to do that.
I think one of the key things in the race, and you brought it up when I interviewed you on Victory Lane, was the fact that you guys had used an extra set of tires in qualifying to get the pole for race 1. Everybody else around you on fresh rubber, you're on used rubber, and that you had to get in your mind saying, you know, I've really got to work for this one, right?
Yeah, you know, the car was really great. Kate gave me a fantastic car, but no car can make up for having older tires than everyone else on such a high degradation track.
Yeah.
It really wears the tires, so it was a huge advantage, especially at the beginning for them. And I was able to hold them off, and as soon as their tires got a little bit more worn, it was a lot more manageable, but that start was really hectic.
Well, Braden, you were under extreme pressure toward the end of the race. You were looking over your shoulder, or probably your crew was telling you where your competitor was that could have knocked you out of the championship. Not only did you need to maintain that position to win the race, you needed to maintain that position to win the championship as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I tried to, you know, I told my team not to really say a whole lot because I just was absolutely focused on what I was doing when I was out there. And Christian was super fast. You know, I knew he started 10th, so when I saw him, I was like, he has to have some real pace out there. And I was just focusing on, you know, getting really good exits, not making any mistakes. And I knew that if I, you know, hit all my marks, then there's not going to be a huge chance for him to pass.
We'll obviously come back and talk to Braden Eves quite a bit more during this race. We'll use him as a driver analyst because he's been on this racetrack today. He's pushed hard with it. So what I do want to bring you up to date on right now, potential for us going back to green here pretty soon, looking down at our live timing, Stingray Robb, who was running second on the racetrack, potentially he was hit in that incident as well. I'd like to be able to see the replay if we can, if we do that before we go green. Because I think that maybe Stingray Robb, it could have been contact between Stingray and Artem Petrov first that maybe moved Petrov over into Frost. Stingray Robb had to come to pit lane. He's back out on the racetrack now. Let's have a look at this thing, folks, as you guys are watching. We'll have... No, we're actually going to go green flag. They pulled off, guys. We're going to get the replay a little later on once they settle in. We'll find out what goes on here. Stingray Robb's to the tail of the field. The driver's coming out of turn number 11. We're going to get back at it right now. Drivers working their way out. Green flag will fly. Rasmuth Lind and Daniel Frost But Frost getting a lot of pressure here from Corey Enders as they work their way up under the bridge down to turn number 2. Coming to the inside, Frost holding the inside line. Corey Enders on the outside. His teammate Moises de la Vera going to try to get a run off at 2, does not. Enders able to work that outside line, which is actually pretty quick. We'll talk to Braden more about that, but drivers settling in here. I'll tell you, coming from the tail of the field, Stingray Robb has not had the weekend he wanted. Led over half of the race yesterday before encountering some dirt in turn number 5. It spun on him, totally caught him off guard while leading Kyle Kirkwood. He was able to continue, but he just wanted to get that first race win. We'll keep an eye on Stingray Robb to see what he can do.
Yeah, tough weekend for him. He started 4th. At the end of that first lap, Malee, he was 2nd, and then evidently damage to the car. He's dropped to the tail end of the field. Now he's running in the 12th spot, going to try and work his way back up. De La Vera with a good move from 7th to 4th, helped a little bit by the cars that are out of it.
Oh, no doubt. A couple of guys jumping up the order with 2 very quick drivers out of this race, Kyle Kirkwood and Artem Petrov. A tough way for RP Motorsports USA to finish as well. They're going to win the championship with Kirkwood, but neither of their cars are going to be able to come back under the checkered flag.
Well, Kirkwood, all Kirkwood had to do to win the race was start. And he did that and got down to turn 1, and that was it. So he went far enough.
Yeah, true enough. He was able to win that championship. That's going to put him in the Indy Light Series next year. Rasmus Lint going to try to see if he can't put the exclamation point on what has been, will be a disappointing season for him. He would like to have won the championship, having led early in the program. Daniel Frost 2nd. He's able to build almost a full 2nd now here on the 2 drivers from D-Force Racing, Corey Enders and Moises de la Vera. Parker Thompson, who started 10th, now up into the 5th spot. Jacob Abel runs 6th. Antoine Comeau in 7th. Antonio Saravalli 8th. Nikita Lostashkin in 9th. And Philippe Dennis now into the 10th spot. Stingray Robb up to 11th. And I think what he's going to need here probably is another yellow. Let's bring Braden Eves back in because Braden, obviously during your race you couldn't hear us. You were getting all your input from the guys from Cape. We were going through all the permutations. We were looking at the points. If you dropped a spot, if Hunter McElroy got another position, we were looking at fast lap. One thing that probably would have changed things had a full course yellow come out. It didn't for you. It played for your. We'll see what happens here for Stingray Robb if he gets one to come forward. But for you, it was that extended run. You had to have a great battle with Christian Rasmussen, but that extended run allowed McElroy to stay further back.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and as I said on the podium, last night was it was tough to sleep.
Yeah.
With this huge race coming up, I was just playing out every single different opportunity in my head and what I would do if this happens or if this happens. And we haven't had a caution in quite a while.
We haven't, you're right.
And we had one right at the beginning, which was, that's the best time to have it because it didn't really, you know, the field hadn't spread out.
Indeed.
But yeah, I mean, Hunter, I knew he was going to be fast. He had the new tires. I kind of assumed that he would get fastest lap because he did in the race before.
Indeed,
so
yeah, not surprised he didn't, though. Yeah,
I kind of counted on him getting that extra point. And when I was going through all the different scenarios, it was like, well, if I get 2nd, he has to get 8th. But then what if he gets a fast lap? So it's like, you know,
well, you always had that little tiebreaker back, though. You had more race wins than he did coming in, so he had that tiebreaker, which was nice.
Yeah, exactly. And but at the end of the day, the only thing I could do to make sure that I would win the championship is win the race. And I knew that for him to win, he would have had to get like podium or something.
Exactly.
So.
Now, here we saw some craziness at the start there. For you, you started, I think, did you start 4th, 3rd or 4th for that race?
I started 3rd.
So you started 3rd. You're on the inside of row 2. We saw some action at this start. How do you end up leading coming out of the opening set of corners?
Yeah, so I got a really good start. I was right on Kaminsky's tail, and the 2nd place guy kind of fell back a little bit, and I knew that I was not going to be able to make it work if I tried to go to the outside. So
we have seen a pass for the lead, ladies and gentlemen. Daniel Frost for Exclusive Autosport has gone to P1. Frost turns fast lap of the race in the process. He's able to get by Rasmus Lint, so Frost now leads. Great run here for Daniel Frost. 2 times a winner already this year. 1 on the oval at Lucas Oil Raceway, 1 on the streets of Toronto as well. Daniel Frost, P1, Rasmus Lint 2nd. Enders and De La Vera having really good runs here for D-Force Racing, but look at Parker Thompson getting aggressive, Dick, from the back there in the Able Motorsports machine. You're watching him really go to work now on Moises de Oliveira.
I can't believe that last lap by Frost, a 1:22.6, almost 2 full seconds quicker than Lynn, the second place driver. That's why he moved up as quickly as he did. Yeah,
obviously able to make a move and get Rasmuth out of the line to the point where he got that horrible lap. Most drivers turn lap times in the low 123s, but a 122.604. This will cap off the season for all these drivers. It's really only the first full season on the road to Indy for Daniel Frost. He ran 3 races last year in USF 2000 with Exclusive Autosport, stayed with the team, moved up, of course, to the Indy Pro 2000 category. He's been great out of the gate. He's been a championship challenger, settling in kind of that battle inside the top 5, had a couple of rough runs. But when you win a couple of races and potentially set yourself up for a 3rd race win, should he come back to Indy Pro next year, he would most definitely be a championship challenger. The lead now 1.5 seconds. Dick, another
122.
7/10 quicker. Wow, look at this. He's pulling away. It's still early. 7 laps down. We still have a number of laps remaining in this 25-lap race, but Daniel Frost, they've been dialing things in on that car, and he is out front comfortably right now. Here's their top 10. Frost, Lint, Enders, de Oliveira, and Thompson. Jacob Abel runs 6th, Antoine Camo 7th, Saravalli in 8th, Lastishka 9th, and Stingray Robb now up to 10th position. You know, let's have a look at that replay. I'd like to have one little look because Jeremy Shaw, who's helping with us here as well, he thought that he may have seen some contact between Stingray Robb. So that'll be the inside as they come up here.
Here it is.
Stingray Robb is right in the corner. You know what? I think Jeremy might have been correct. There's a wing going flying there as well, but that might have been contact left, front, right, rear on Stingray Robb. You see him coming to the inside of the track here. He's kind of making evasive maneuvers, driving himself down to the apex and getting up on the rumbles, knowing that contact could ensue. The 2 D-Force drivers coming through. There's the contact between the 2 RP Motorsports drivers. But indeed, trying to see Stingray pulling away, I'm going to say potentially a cut tire. That's probably what would have happened there. Potentially got the wing into the back. You know what that's like, Braden. Close quarters racing into turn number 1. All it takes is someone maybe breaking a little earlier than you, and you're kind of tucked in behind them. You make contact, and things can go bad pretty quickly.
Yeah, that actually happened to me in Toronto. We just made a little bit of contact, me and Colin Kaminsky.
That's right.
It resulted in a puncture for me, so I had to make a trip to the pit lane, and that actually cost me quite a bit of points in the championship.
Looking back, not so bad, but when it happened, I know that was, you probably looked at that and said, man, this was not a good weekend for me to have something like this happen.
Yeah, it was really rough, especially after that was coming off of all the wins that I had, and I had won every single weekend leading up to that, so it was really tough to have not even a podium finish and a DNF.
Question, does the championship smooth all the bumps out from the year?
For sure. I mean, the only thing that matters is who ends up with the most points, so
you're right.
It doesn't matter how or you know, the journey along the way doesn't matter as much as the end result.
I know you were stressing yesterday about this race here today. I don't want to add too much stress on you, but make sure you sit down and work on that speech, because when we do the awards ceremony tomorrow, we're going to get you up there. You're going to get a chance to celebrate with your team winning this championship. You're going to get the big check next year in the Indy Pro 2000 category. How excited are you to be able to drive the PM18? Have you driven one yet?
I have not. I'm super excited. I've heard a lot of great things about it. They sound amazing.
They do.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be able to drive that engine for sure.
And he'll get to do that, folks, as the champion. That's awesome. Fantastic job for Braden Eves. We'll keep him up here with us to give some good information. 10 laps down, 15 laps still to go. It's a 1.7 second lead for Daniel Frost. Dick, he's kind of calmed down a little bit. He kind of broke out that lead of almost 2 seconds and then settled back down. All the other drivers have got down to
They've gotten down to the 122s, but he is definitely checked out. He's got a comfortable lead, if you can call 1.7 seconds comfortable with this group. You got some really hard chargers. 10 of the 15 starters are rookies in this group here this afternoon.
And that's the thing. It's kind of the storyline of this program. This is a brand new car. In USF 2000, we brought out a brand new Tatis car in 2017. It's the same tub, essentially, into the PM18, which we brought out last year in 2018. 2017 was the final year for the older car that we had. Last time I was here with you in 2016,
Yeah.
we had the older Pro Formula Mazda. So obviously a brand new race car. The interesting thing in that year, because it was the final year, we were phasing it out. We didn't have a lot of takers. A lot of guys were waiting for the new car to come in 2018. We had a shorter schedule, so we didn't have a lot of cars. Well, when this new program started, we had 10 cars, then 12, and now we have 15 here this weekend. I think we're going to have 20 next year. This may be the big growth spurt for Indy Pro 2000. You're going to see a lot of cars in that category next year.
Well, Frost's lead has shrunk a little bit that time as all of a sudden, look at Lind. He's done a 122. He is really flying.
Fast lap of the race, 122.093 for Rasmuth Lind. He's closed it down to 1.3 seconds. And we'll see whether or not Daniel Frost has pushed a little bit hard early on. Let's go to the expert here who's driven it. Braden, do you believe that pushing that hard early to pull away like he did, can you damage the tires here?
I don't really think so.
No?
I think the big thing is that getting that gap, because it's not really like anybody's going to suddenly get faster at the end of the race. So you gotta make sure that you don't fall off, but at the same time, it's really hard, and that track position is vital.
Yeah, perfect example, because you had them pressing behind you. They were going back and forth. It was super fun to watch. You held your ground, though, because they were pushing like crazy. Christian Rasmussen was trying you everywhere. You had the elbows up for sure when he tried to make some moves on you. I like the moves of running out to the outside of turn number 2. Nobody was going around the outside. Yeah, I like that. Did you feel at one point in the race where, you know what, I'm not letting anybody by this? This isn't happening.
Right from the get-go, you know.
From the green flag, Rob.
Yeah, you know, we're actually allocated only a certain amount of Cooper tires during the weekend, and our strategy was to use them in qualifying to try and start pole, because it's a huge advantage to start pole here, but it ended up working out better for the people that did the other strategy in race 1. They had the fresher Cooper tires, and we're able to definitely take advantage of that at the start of the race.
You talk about track position, and here's the big battle here right now. Parker Thompson is trying to find a way by. He's potentially side by side. Now, a little contact there. He and Moises de Oliveira. It's so tough to pass at this racetrack. Parker Thompson is throwing everything he can right now at Moises de Oliveira. He closed right up there, and Dick, you saw I had to look to the inside of turn number 3.
Yeah, that's the battle for 4th. In the meantime, Stingray Robb has picked up a couple of spots. He is now up into 9th, and he's less than a second behind Saravalli. So he's trying to work his way back up in the mix as well. Still a lot ways. We're just about halfway. Yeah. 12 laps done, 25 out of the 25. So just about the midpoint of this race. Still plenty of action happening. Good battle at the front. Rasmus with the fastest lap, trying to close on Frost, your race leader.
It's tough to watch some of the bad luck that Stingray Robb has had. He's got so much speed. He's just had some killer luck. Started on the pole position at Portland. In fact, this is the second weekend in a row where he's gotten contact with Artem Petrov. He started on the pole at Portland in the opening race, drove down to the corner. Petrov totally missed the braking zone and just drove into the back of him and spun him around. Again, this time contact potentially from the rear as well. Petrov trying to get in too deep into the corner. He cuts the right rear potentially of Stingray Robb. So same driver, 2 different incidents where he has caused Stingray to essentially fall to the tail of the field. And it's tough because he's such a talented driver, so much speed. And the first race win on the road to Indy is absolutely around the corner for Stingray. I thought it might happen here today. It's not at this point. Unless, of course, we get a full course yellow and we restack things. We'll see.
But talking about the aggressive driving, you know, I've got to commend all the drivers in all the series on the road to Indy this weekend. They've been excellent driving, very clean driving, very few yellows. I think, Braden, you said this is the first yellow you've seen.
Yeah, been a while, right?
Yeah, it's definitely been a while for USF 2000 and Indy Pro as well. Most of our races go full green, which is super nice. It allows us to get a lot of laps and just let us run our own races and not have any outside
interference.
Let's
go back to Portland, though, because the only series that was able to get through turn 1, 2, and 3 cleanly was USF 2000. Everybody else, chaos, incidents, drivers, even the NTT IndyCar series. But you guys got through clean and did a great job there.
Yep.
Now, Braden, this is your first time here at Laguna Seca. What do you think of the track?
Oh, I absolutely love the track. You know, I've driven it on the Sims for a long time. Actually, you know, it's a funny story. My first ever iRacing win was here at Laguna Seca in the MX-5, and I did donuts over in turn 1. I wish I would have been able to do that there after the championship, but...
Well, here's the question. This begs the question. iRacing, Laguna Seca, real life Laguna Seca. How much difference is it? Because, you know, Dick and I talked about this when we started the weekend here, the fact that you just can't feel that gravity drop coming over top of the corkscrew. Is it just the feel on the body, the wear and tear? Is that the biggest difference?
Yeah, it's the biggest difference. You know, I had a lot of time on all the simulators, iRacing especially, practicing here. All the models are really realistic.
There.
And, you know, another thing I did to prepare was I came and drove the Allenberg Racing School cars.
Yep.
He hooked me up. That is a great program that they have. The school cars were really good, and it helped me out tremendously. To have some track time here before I came for the race was super important, especially, you know, with only 30 minutes of practice.
And getting the chance to then take that knowledge you had in the sim, put it into real life, not having to do it also in just that one particular opportunity. Yeah, one driver off the racetrack.
Exit of 9.
Out of turn number 9. We've seen that a couple times this weekend, Dick.
That one catches a lot of people out. That reverse camber turn as you come down the hill, the bottom of the corkscrew, you're carrying a lot of speed.
Trying to figure out who that might have been who fell down the order. It might have been Nikita Lastashkin. He's out of the race here. Now, that was a couple laps ago. What do you think, Matt Roungarito potentially? Daniel Frost falling down the order. You think that was Daniel that went off? Man, Daniel Frost, potentially the driver who went off the racetrack there. Braden Eves picking it up here on live timing. Indeed, Daniel Frost falling down the order from the lead. He goes off in turn number 9.
And that helps Stingray Bob move up 1, and we got a yellow flag.
Yellow flag flying right now. Yellow flag. Stingray Robb is going to get a lot of help here. He moves his way up to the 6th position. Daniel Frost falling all the way down the order. We have not seen him come back around. Now, he went off track and has not come back around start-finish. I wonder if there potentially was maybe a part failure or damage or something like that to go off the racetrack like that.
Yeah, it's weird to see somebody just fall off like that, especially when he was so strong early on. Anything could have happened, really, but we'll just have to see.
Here he is here. We'll see it on the screen, folks. He has come to a stop, went off the racetrack, was just able to get back on, and Daniel Frost coming to a stop, coming down to the entry of turn number 10. Again, he was well off. By the time we were able to pick it up, he probably was about 40
Evidently, that car
off.
unable to roll because he could have coasted down the hill, but it's a dead stop, and one of the emergency vehicles has come up to him. I don't know if they're going to tow him or give him a pull or what. Here comes the field around him, Rasmus Lind, rather. Here's a replay coming on that. We can see it again.
They'll come out at turn number 9. We'll get this replay. The leader will be working his way down, and we've seen guys just potentially miss the turn-in point. Well, he's way off there.
Whoa.
Big slide to the outside. Does he make? And he does make some contact. So there you go. The reason why he has stopped, right rear contact with the tire barrier. But Braden
could have broken some suspension bits on that.
You had a look at that. What would you have had to do to get that far off the racetrack before even turning into 9?
You know, I don't know. I didn't see the start of that, but
Here.
Yeah, let's see it again.
We'll give Braden a chance to have a look at this. You can see he's missed it completely coming through there. He is out of the line. Really wasn't able to make the turn down into turn number 9.
I would have to say that something happened with the car. Maybe a toe link broke.
Yep.
You know, that's just after the corkscrew, so maybe it landed funny. There could have been something that malfunctioned on the car.
So the car coming down compresses, and then the toe link would have broken. The car would have squatted down and potentially bottomed out.
Yeah, because he was past the apex and he hadn't even started to turn yet.
Yeah, he was well wide. So again, potential part failure. Did you feel that? Is there a lot of bottoming? Because you watch you guys come through there and coming down, the compression as you come through the carousel. Does the car bottom at all? Do you feel it scrape a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. We had to adjust some of our setup to this track because the track has a lot of places where cars are prone to bottoming, especially the corkscrew. You know, we use the runoff out of turn 11 where the cars bottom as well. So there's a lot of corners where, you know, you don't see it on the video, but there's a lot of banking, and it really puts a lot of load on those springs, lowering the ride height when you go in there.
There you go. So that's the issue. Potentially, of course, getting information from Braden Eves, the USF 2000 champion, crowned earlier today. He'll win a scholarship to move next year into the Indy Pro 2000 category. Dick, more to add?
Rob, you said that Stingray Robb was going to need a yellow flag. Well, he got one.
Well, he just got one. There's no doubt about that. We are watching the laps tick away here. 15 laps down, 10 laps still to go. I'm sure they'll be able to clear the track pretty quickly. So let's reset. Rasmus Lind, now your leader. Corey Enders runs in second. Third is Parker Thompson. Fourth, Moises de Oliveira. Fifth is Jacob Abel. Sixth spot, Stingray Robb back to P6 now. Antonio Saravalli runs in 7th. Philippe Dennis in 8th. Antoine Camo 9th. And Matt Round-Garrido in 10th. Charles Finelli in 11th. And drivers out of the race already. Daniel Frost, Nikita Lastishkin, Kyle Kirkwood, and Artem Petrov. So only one driver still coming here from Exclusive Autosport. Frost and Lastishkin not in. Philippe Dennis running in 8th. We are back to green. 16 laps will go in the books. 9 to go. Corey Enders going to go to work here on Rasmus Lint. They'll work their way down into turn number 2 after making the kink 1. Enders is going to try this outside, getting a really good run for Enders. Can he get enough forward bite coming out of the corner? They're going to go side by side. Enders will put a wheel in the grass.
Not going to work.
Can't quite get it done.
No.
But there's a pass potentially there, I think, for Stingray Robb. He may have got by Abel. Parker Thompson jumping up here as well. No, that's Sarah Motley pushing Robb from behind. We got some really aggressive racing on the opening lap, and I'll tell you, Braden Eves, that's a chance to get a pass, right? The restart, really good opportunity.
Absolutely. You know, it always gives a little bit of an advantage to the leader, but everyone else stacks up, and it's a really good opportunity. If maybe you had a quite a big gap before just because of, you know, maybe you got in a battle, you fell back from the pack in front. Now everyone's bunched up, and it gives opportunity to make moves on this opening lap.
Look at the top 4 drivers rolling down through the corkscrew, not that far back as well. That might be Philippe Dennis has worked his way back up potentially into the 5th position as well. I think he may have snuck through there somehow. Unless that is still Jacob Abel in the 51. A couple of interesting liveries that look the same. I think that's still Abel. Yeah, a little bit of white on that car. So the 51 of Abel still running in that 5th position. Stingray Robb 6th. Turn 1, obviously the primary opportunity to pass. You got to get that run out of turn number 11. And I was surprised. I think that if Corey Enders could have hugged it down a little more and not let the car drift out as he did, we may have seen a pass. He's going to try it again. He's going to go to the outside as they work their way down. Again, way to the outside. Parker Thompson trying to capitalize. He can't get it done from the bottom either. Now, Braden, tell me this. Is there a lot of grip on the outside? We saw it in the NTT IndyCar Series as well. Simon Pagenaud kept trying to get to the inside, but Scott Dixon would just roll the outside. Is there enough grip out there to be able to make the car stick?
Yeah, you know, normally I think people usually run the low line, but as we saw in practice, a lot of the IndyCar drivers were running the high line, or the high line, so to say, a little bit wider line, and it was helping them get a little bit more traction at the exit. So with all the IndyCars running that line, it allows us to go a little bit wider, maybe try to make an outside pass because there's a lot of rubber down.
And really, in that corner, it's just the race to the exit point, right? As long as you're the first guy to the exit point, you're going to have the inside for the right-hand turn 3.
Yeah, it's kind of risky, too, though, when you're on the outside because it's really easy to run out of road, especially when you have somebody that might be washing out from the inside.
Or somebody that wants to win a championship and doesn't want to let you get by.
Yeah, Dixon did make the comment in the post-race interview that the high line had a lot of grip.
It was big. He was on that second groove, and Simon kept trying to go to the bottom of the track, and he would get side by side. But, again, Scott just able to run him out to that exit point. Rasmus Lint trying to pull out a little bit more of a lead. He was 0.16 last time by. It's a half a second now. Corey Enders not close enough. Let's see if Parker Thompson can battle. Stingray Robb still back there in 6th. He's not been able to capitalize yet on the restart. Indeed, the battle now for 4th has Moises de Oliveira coming under pressure from Jacob Abel. Abel has improved drastically throughout the season. Just a raw rookie coming in to a certain extent, but he has just got better and better. Of course, working with Parker Thompson. They came in as a brand new team here in the Indy Pro 2000 category. Abel Motorsports, no data whatsoever. Oh, here's a pass for second spot. Parker Thompson going side by side with Corey Enders out of turn number 5, up to turn number 6. Who's going to give a game of chicken into turn number 6? To the inside, side by side still. And to the outside goes Enders. Corey Enders not giving it up into the braking zone of the corkscrew. And Parker Thompson getting challenged here by Moises de Oliveira. They'll go side by side. Oh, that was pretty aggressive. Parker Thompson was not going to let Moises de Oliveira run the outside there into the corkscrew. Dick, what do you think about that pass?
It's incredible. Braden, have you ever been side by side at the entrance of the corkscrew and driven it all the way down side by side with another car?
No, and almost more crazy, going side by side into 6 would definitely be scary.
Yeah.
I know. And the funny thing is, when we were back here in 2016, when we capped the season off, we saw more guys going off on the exit of 6. We really didn't see any of that this year. That was kind of a move where guys would try that and someone would get shuffled off a little bit.
You know, there's a little concrete pyramid right at the apex of turn 8. It's painted yellow. I don't know if you see it.
I did see that.
If you hit that, it's going to throw the balance off of the car. Your rear end is going to break loose on you. It happened to Ray Hall. He did a big spin up there during a warm-up earlier today.
All that crazy racing action has put Moises de Oliveira significantly back from Parker Thompson, over a second back now. And I think that we're seeing Stingray Robb try to go to work on Jacob Abel. But, you know, you mentioned it, Braden. Such a tough place to pass. These drivers are so evenly matched that track position is key. You know, starting on the pole position for Rasmus Lindh, he was able to get out in front of the chaos behind him, and now it's been able, even though he had lost the lead to Daniel Frost, now that he's got it back after the issue with Frost, he's just pulling away.
Yeah, he's back into the 122s, and he's got about a 1.7 second lead over Enders. Parker Thompson's having a great weekend, great day today. Look, he's only 0.3 of a second behind Enders.
Matt Rangarito into pit lane. He'll roll back out here as well on that HMD Motorsports number 27 machine. Biggest battle I think we're going to see. I don't think Parker Thompson's done trying to challenge on Corey Enders here, but Corey has built a little bit of a gap. Stingray Robb seems to be having some trouble finding a way by Jacob Abel as well. Stingray started in the 3rd position, got the cut tire. 5 laps remaining as they come across the stripe. Just 5 to go in the 2019 Road to Indy presented by Cooper Tires season. 3 champions now crowned. I was going to say 2 officially, but the race already essentially is crowned here, as Kyle Kirkwood needed only to start the race to win the Indy Pro 2000 championship. He'll follow in the footsteps of Renus VK and move next year to the Indy Light Series. Guy beside me here right now, Braden Eves from Cape Motorsports, winning the championship in the USF 2000 category. He'll run Indy Pro 2000. I asked him already if it had sunk in. It's interesting. I talked to Oliver Askew as well at the start of the season. You know, he didn't even have a ride whatsoever. It wasn't until right before the test at the Circuit of the Americas where he was able to hook up with Andretti. At the start of the season, you kind of knew you were coming in with Cape Motorsports. Was it beyond your wildest dreams to think you would win the championship, or knowing you're with Cape, multi-time championship, hey, you know what, they're going to give me everything I need to try to get the job done?
Yeah, that's kind of how the way I looked at it. You know, they've won the last 8 years, and this makes it 9 in a row. So they're definitely the top team to go with if you're looking at the USF 2000 series. But at the same time, this series is so competitive that anything can happen. And we saw it this season. You know, I was losing points to Hunter going into this weekend. Hunter dominated at Portland. You know, and it kind of felt like it was slipping away a little bit. So I just had to reverse that this weekend. And, you know, it came down to 1 position in the end.
It did, really. Incredible. Congratulations, of course, to Braden Eves. Did a tremendous job with Cape Motorsports, joining a long line of champions for that great program. Pabst Racing, of course, did a great job as well. I think they will come away with the team championship, but that's, of course, unofficial. Drivers working their way through turn number 5 here once again. Corey Enders is your leader of the number 10. And the battle continuing, though, here for that 2nd position as Parker Thompson's closed right back up again, a couple of car lengths back from Corey Enders.
And Rasmus Lindh at the head of the field turned the wick up again, turning 1 minute 22.92 second lap. Enders behind him. He's about 3 or 4 tenths slower on that lap, and he's about 1.8 seconds back. So Rasmus Lindh with a comfortable lead, if you could call it that, in the closing stages with 4 to go.
Corey Enders missed the turn-in coming into the corkscrew there, went a little wide and had to whoa it up. Parker Thompson was able to get a good run. Look at him going inside of 11. This is what happens here. Parker Thompson to the inside of turn number 11, side by side, book it. Parker Thompson through to take over 2nd spot. And we talked about it, Dick. You make a mistake somewhere, you're going to lose it later on. That was a mistake over in turn number 8. He loses the position in turn number 11. In fact, here comes his teammate to the inside as well, Moises de Oliveira, trying to find a way by. Charles Finelli getting lapped by our leader, pulling off to the side a little bit, not want to get into the action. Further back, Jacob Abel closing up with the 2 D-Force cars as well. But Moises de Oliveira most definitely getting racy with his teammate Corey Enders. They run 3rd and 4th, probably the best they've run all year on a road course.
Yeah, let me ask Braden this. It's very difficult to pass, everybody says here at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. You almost have to rely on the driver ahead of you to make a mistake. And they will make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. That's basically what you need sometimes because, as you had indicated earlier, the cars are so even.
Yeah, exactly. You know, sometimes you're in a position where, you know, they're so evenly matched. So you kind of just have to sit there, make yourself big in the mirrors, and kind of pressure them into a mistake. And that's just how some races go.
Didn't work against you.
No, I guess not.
Well, you said everybody made mistakes, and that's not entirely true because Braden didn't make any mistakes today.
Well, none that he'll admit
This
to.
is true. This is true. Hey, listen, when you put the trophy over your head, all mistakes are forgiven anyways.
Cleans the board.
Wiped out, Dick, completely.
Yeah.
Trying to kind of watch the battle now here between first and second gap-wise. 2.7 seconds. Parker Thompson, 6 seconds, 6/10 of a second quicker. There are just 2 laps remaining, however. It's going to be too little too late, I believe, for Parker Thompson trying to reel in Rasmuth Lint. Rasmuth not able to win the championship, but just like Rinus VK did in the Indy Lights program, sweeping the weekend here, he's going to try to get a victory to kind of soften the sting a little bit. 2 laps to go here in Indy Pro.
Good day for Thompson. He started 10th.
Yeah.
And he's up into second. Of course, he had a little help with some retirements, but he has been driving hard all afternoon. And right now, he's lapping quicker than your race leader. But the race leader is a little bit too far ahead to be caught unless he makes a mistake that we talked about. 2.7 seconds the lead for Rasmus Lindh over Parker Thompson.
Yeah, I think Parker needed probably 5 more laps. He's most definitely closing up on Rasmus now, but Rasmus is also probably just hitting the mark, kind of backing off a little bit, not pressing too much. He's got that big, huge gap. Here he is coming out of turn number 9 to 10. That's the number 10 machine of Rasmus Lindh. Driver, that's Matt Round-Garrido. He's got the leaders coming through him here right now. You can see that Stingray Robb, the number 2, going to work here as well. Thinking about making a pass there in turn number 11, but he had to back it up because Matt Round-Garrido kind of right in the middle there. White flag flying. 1 to go for Rasmus Lindh for Juncos Racing, the speedy Swede up front. I think Stingray Robb's going to make a move here right now, coming down the hill. Yeah, he's going to try to go to the outside. Look at this run to the outside. Can he hold it? Trying to get back on the power. So tough because you're waiting for that car to set. Not able to make the move. Here comes, I believe, Philippe Dennis behind as well. He's trying to make a move. That's a 3-driver battle right now for 5th, 6th, and 7th. Wow, they're getting aggressive coming through 3 and 4. But again, up front, let's start focusing on the driver potentially going to win this race. Rasmus Lindh, 2 victories earlier in the season as he was able to win both races at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, was not able to get another victory since then. Since those races, though, he was able to get 9 podium finishes. This would be his 3rd win of the season, and I'm sure he'll be thrilled to get over the line here to get this win. It's still bittersweet. He wanted to win this championship. He held the point lead for much of this, or at least the first half of the season, but it was this string of race wins by Kyle Kirkwood that really spelled domination. Drivers coming through the last couple of corners here onto the front straightaway. Parker Thompson's most definitely closed. He was almost a full second quicker last time by. A couple more laps that could have been a challenge, but today, folks, the winner in Indy Pro 2000 to cap off the 2019 Road to Indy season, Rasmus Lindh. 0.8 of a second ahead of Parker Thompson. 1 more lap, and I think Thompson might have took him. Thompson finishes 2nd. Corey Enders on the podium in 3rd. What a great run for Corey. He was on the podium in 3rd as well at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway on the Oval. Had a great run there. D-Force Racing 3rd and 4th. Moises De Oliveira ends up in 4th. Jacob Abel 5th. Stingray Robb 6th. Philippe Dennis ends up in 7th. Antonio Saravalli 8th. Antoine Camo 9th. And Matt Round-Garrido in 10th. Let's cap off here with Braden Eves. First and foremost, congratulations on a tremendous year. Started strong. You battled through some adversity through the midway of the season. But here at Laguna Seca, you turn things up, and you went out, and I said to a couple people, you had to fight for this, and you went out and fought for that championship. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Rob.
You must be just top of the world right now.
I really am.
I haven't seen this guy smile. I've known him since he
Boy,
was about...
He's got a big smile on his face. You know, he walked in behind me in the booth here, and I didn't know who it was, had the headset on, and he's carrying his thing, looked like a skateboard. It's the trophy.
It's the trophy. That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining me, bud.
Thanks, Rob.
Excellent job for Braden Eves helping us out here as our driver analyst as well. But, folks, there is your finish, the last race of the Road to Indy season. Rasmus Lindh with the win. Parker Thompson 2nd. Corey Enders is going to the podium in 3rd. Moises De Oliveira 4th. Jacob Abel 5th. Stingray Robb, after the early issue, comes back to 6th position. Philippe Dennis in 7th. Antonio Saravalli 8th. Antoine Camo 9th. And Matt Round-Garrido capping off your top 10. Dick, I know you have one more race to go, but it's been 3 years since I last got a chance to work with you in 2016. It's 2019. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you much, Rob. And don't be a stranger. Come back sooner than that. Hope to see you back here next year.
Next year. We'll be back next September.
Rob Howden, the voice of the Road to Indy.
Hey guys, just finished up race 2, the last race here of the season. It's kind of a heartbreaking moment for the season because we had such a good year and we were able to walk away with the championship. But in that race, it was not one of our better races. We ended up crashing out in turn 2, but you know we're just all we're hyped up about the championship win. That's all that really matters at the moment. So we're stoked on that. Now it's time to just start focusing on next year and what is to come in the future. But even though the race didn't go as planned, we're extremely happy.